What's up guys, welcome back to the channel, and for this one I want to show you guys a floor 10 solo inside Shadowland using Lincoln against the Loki boss. And I know I do a lot of solos against the Loki boss guys, but the reason I keep doing it is because I want to show you guys as many characters that can beat the Loki boss as possible, because floor 10 and floor 15 are two very important floors, because you get the option of getting the biometric selector, and there's a 90% chance of you getting Loki on this floor, like 10 and 15, based on my experience guys. Like pretty much every week I can guarantee Loki being there for me. So I wanted to help those of you guys that have really small rosters, so you can start getting some of these biometric selectors and unlock as many characters as possible, because these selectors will definitely help speed up that process and save you some money in the long run, because you get access to characters that are not farmable through story or special missions. However, there are still some characters that are excluded. So without me rambling too long, I want to give you guys a look at Lincoln, because Lincoln is not a character that I use very often, but he did just get a bit of a bump to his usability for me, because before this guys, the only reason I would use a Lincoln would be for his leadership, which as you guys can see right here, 60% increase to lightning damage, which is one of the best elemental damaging leaderships in the game, right up there with Red Hulk, Satana, and Misty Knight. However, before he got this guard right here on the 3 skill, Lincoln was pretty much only usable for me as a leader, and that's it, because he just does not have the kind of survivability that you need to get a lot of stuff done. And as you guys can see, his kit is very plain. It's just all damage and nothing else. So this guard right here is actually pretty good. At first glance I thought it was going to be absolute garbage, because as you guys can see, 3 hits for 2 seconds with a 20-second cooldown. However, it works very similar to Odin's guard, where you get that 3 hits for 2 seconds, and after 2 seconds the guard will keep refreshing over and over again until the skill ends. And unlike Odin, his protective dome will deal damage to the enemies, so that is actually really good there too. However, even with his leadership guys and a friggin' lightning boosting obelisk, his damage is not spectacular. It's actually really low, considering how high of a boost he's getting from all of this the leadership and the damage proc. As for the obelisk guys, I went with the lightning resist, lightning damage, and increase damage for 1 times, and that's because that was the best I had for him at the time. However, ideally you want to go with something like defense pen, lightning damage, increased damage. So I got 2 out of 3, and I just settled for it because, like I said, Lincoln is not someone I use very often. But I just wanted to put that out there for you guys who are building him and you really like him. As for an ISO set, I went with Power of Hungry Hulk here. But however, this was something I recently added here. Before that, I had binary power because, like I said, no survivability, so I gave him an HP shield. So with this guard in the equation now, guys, I changed it to Power of Angry Hulk, and I find that he does a little bit better because he has more survivability built into his kit. However, he's not someone I would personally tier 2, because his tier 2 is really not that great. Sure, the lightning resist makes sense since he's a lightning based character, so he should ideally take less damage from lightning, and the energy damage received decreased by 25% is pretty nice as well. However, the damage buff that he's receiving is pretty minuscule, and he already does pretty lackluster damage. Don't see much coming out of him based on that, guys. So spark plug is not something that I'm going to be in a rush to attain. So without making this one too long, I'll just get in here and show you guys how I get it done with him. Because honestly, apart from a few solos in Shadowland, I don't see this guy doing pretty much anything else. Unless he gets a really badass uniform that completely changes his skill set and do kind of what they did for Thor. So let's roll. Alright guys, so for me, I always open with the 3 skill, because now that he has the guard on it, it's pretty much a guaranteed skill that you have to use if you want to survive with him. From there, you want to go into the 4 skill to try and keep the enemy stun locked, because that's the closest thing he has to an actual stun. However, you want to make sure you're as close to a wall as possible when you use it, so that you can keep the enemy inside the skill itself, because as you guys will see, it just keeps pulling the enemies in, However, if you're up against multiple enemies, the skill will just, it doesn't move very fast, but it will slowly start moving to the enemies and it will go around Loki. So you will just have to keep getting up as close as you can to Loki and just keep putting the skill on him. And as you guys can see, I'm relying very heavily on the guard. Otherwise, this guy would have been dead already, 150% guaranteed. And you can just use any rotation as long as you prioritize using the 3 skill and the 4 skill as soon as they come off cooldown. And there you have it, guys. Lincoln just pulled off a pretty impressive solo. Pretty impressive. And that's all I have for this one, guys. Like always, thanks for watching. Let me know what you think about this guy now in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one. I'm gone.